the Blue Jays Today show, where today, guys, we gotta talk about that last series against the LA Dodgers, where they did salvage one, which we both say that we did say that we would get that Sunday game just because the power of Lauer was on the bump for the Blue Jays. And then we gotta talk about some big news that just happened today. Trey Savage, number one prospect now in the Blue Jays system, according to MLB.com, is being called up to AAA Buffalo. What does this mean about his immediate future? Could we see him in the big league soon? And as well, Blue Jays, where is George Springer? What's going on there? And when we get him back, what are we going to do? Because Ty France is actually doing some pretty good stuff right there for the Blue Jays. Let's get into everybody. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'm your host, Adam Bell.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. Welcome in, everybody. I see Drew Gamer in here saying, what the hell? This just surprised me. No warning. I assume you're talking about the Trey Savage news, which we will get to shortly, everybody. Also, if you were referring to the fact that this isn't our usual time, hopefully we'll get back to the schedule soon. But yeah, we're doing it tonight because it's an off day. Makes sense. So we can break down the series upcoming. Let's start with that last series, though, against the Dodgers. Before we transition and talk about the Trey Savage news, the first two games, they were rough. People on Twitter were losing their minds, as they tend to do. I mean, that happens on the regular, but it was especially prevalent because, everybody was kind of saying it's like, oh, well, we're finally up against some good, strong playoff competition, and the offense falls asleep. And that was the case for those first two games. I mean, game one, they only put up one run, and then in game two, they only put up one run. And following a series against the Rockies where it was just like offense as a whole, it was pretty disappointing, those first two games, because that really kind of told everyone, it's like, well, that series against the Rockies was because it was against the Rockies, which we all kind of knew it was, but they really did hammer the point home when the offense only put up 2 runs in 18 innings against the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, and did get their fair share of hits on that first game as well. They got 10 hits in that first one when they lost 1-5. They really battled, and I don't want to make the excuse that they had some pretty good pitching, but they did have some pretty damn good pitching. You had Clayton Kershaw on the bump, who again, they were getting hits off of, but couldn't scratch home more than 1 run against them. And then in that second game on Saturday, you had Blake Snell, 5 innings, only 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and this is very unlike the Toronto Blue Jays. 10 strikeouts. That's not like the Blue Jays at all. We've been talking about how they've been one of the best strikeout teams in terms of not striking out in all of baseball. He throws up a 10 spot. Something's going on there. So we really did struggle against some good pitching in those 2 games. But in the third game, we did get to them 5-4. It was a brutal battle, back and forth. We had a lot of scary moments. And I think one of the more scarier moments in that game, which we're going to talk about, and you actually talked about as well, is that whole Jeff Hoffman situation where he only goes 2 2/3 of an inning. One of those outs actually was a bunt, a sack bunt. So they kind of gave it to him, but 5 walks in that time. Are you concerned right now about how you're seeing Jeff Hoffman being deployed and how he's pitching right now? Or is it just more of, hey, this guy hasn't pitched in a week and that has something to do with it?
Well, before I answer that, quick shout out here to Doug Savona with a $2 donation saying, what did I say? I guaranteed the win yesterday. You were on to something, my friend. Both of us also said that yesterday was going to be a win, and we actually called the series perfectly here. Yeah. Lose game 1, lose game 2, and then win game 3. I was hoping that the game 1 and game 2 would be a little closer, but beggars can't be choosers here. Going back to the Hoffman thing, the first thing I want to bring up there is what on earth John Schneider was really thinking with keeping him in the game for as long as he did. Now, the first thing that people were getting all up in arms about was taking out, I believe it was Yariel Rodriguez in the 8th, when he still had a decent pitches to work with. He could have been in there probably for a bit longer. Granted, I believe he pitched the day prior, but still, I think that he could have gotten one more out, and that's all you needed. You needed one more out in that inning at the bottom of the 8th to retain the lead. And then John Schneider goes, no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take out Yariel Rodriguez. We're going to put in Jeff Hoffman. And I assume the thinking was, well, we're going to get a quick out here. It's going to be, 3 to 5 pitches. Bang, we get the out. And then we can start the next inning off with Jeff Hoffman, and it'll be smooth sailing. That is obviously not what happened at all. He had zero command of really any of his pitches, and a couple walks, and then, of course, a run comes in. So that happens, and the chat when I was live is like, oh boy, like what were we doing there, John? Why did we put in Hoffman? But you know what, I was at that point I was like, okay, well, I saw the vision. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but at least I saw the vision. What didn't make any sense to me at all was then when he comes back out in the ninth. This is after throwing 18 pitches in the eighth, by the way. So he throws 18 pitches in the eighth. He comes back out in the ninth. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this must be like we're going to see him against one batter, or we're going to see how he looks.
Right.
And then it's like, well, if he still doesn't have it, it's, we're pulling you and we're putting somebody else in there. But that's not what happened at all. He walked 2 guys, then he got the sack bunt, which you're right. I mean, like, did he really earn that out?
Yeah.
You tell me. And then he walked a 3rd guy. So I was screaming at the top of my lungs, as was the chat, as to why John Schneider was keeping him in there for as long as he did. Because I think after that Ande Pages walk, that's where you got to take him out, and that's where you got to go, okay, like we see that you do not have it today. Let's go to somebody else.
And you should be, honestly, in my opinion, you should be game planning for a situation like this, especially right after 8th inning. I know the baseball game moves very quickly, but you got to game plan, because what I saw here was he's clearly trying to get Fluharty to go against Ohtani, and the bullpen's been getting worked, and they've been struggling. You already burned Brendan Little this game, so you're burning a lot of pieces right here. So you're really thinking about, okay, if worst case scenario, we end up getting Shohei Ohtani, we got to get Mason Fluharty lefty on lefty matchup. That's the kind of thinking. But you're right. I agree. You got to use your eyeball a little bit in game plan. Well, it's like, okay, well, if I really want to keep Fluharty for Ohtani, I need to have somebody else come out in case Hoffman does start blowing up and almost lets the game slip just like that.
Yeah, and Janus is saying Nick was going crazy and losing it yesterday. I mean, at this current juncture in time, yes, because this just made no sense to me. Now, I'm going to give John Schneider his flowers. A lot of times during the season, he's made some smart decisions I've really liked, decisions Adam has really liked as well, and decisions that we can get behind. This was one of those ones where it just wasn't it. Now, speaking of Mason Fluharty, eventually he was thrust into the game. The situation wasn't perfect. 1 out. You had the bases loaded up against Shohei Ohtani, and then following him, Mookie Betts, who, by the way, was having a very good series and a good game yesterday as well. Yeah. Strikes out Ohtani.
Legend.
I mean, nowhere to put him, right? And this guy didn't blink. Mason Fluharty was there. He made Shohei Ohtani look actually very, very stupid. The pitch that he swung at, I mean, it made Shohei Ohtani kind of look ridiculous right there. And then he got the ground out for Mookie Betts. And it was honestly the most badass moment of Mason Fluharty's career by a wide margin.
And even after when he was battling against the MLB and umpires, you know that check swing? That was clearly a swing on Ohtani. Even Ohtani started walking back to the freaking dugout after his check swing, and they give him that. So even battling the MLB and umpires, because they want Shohei Ohtani to come up in the big moment.
That was actually a wild one not to call. I'm hoping, I'm praying that's just like human error and he missed it, because if there is anything going on there where it's like, oh well, we got to give favorable treatment to Ohtani, like, guys, the guy is already good enough at baseball as it is, okay? He doesn't need any more favorable treatment right here, and a strike is a strike. The dude swung on that one. You got to give that to my boy Mason Fluharty. Regardless, though, battles through all of that, and then became the first person since 2002, by the way, to retire back-to-back MVPs with the bases loaded. Just
Crazy.
A fun little stat right here. Yeah. Also, the last guy to do it was Trevor Hoffman. I looked it up. There was no relation to Jeff Hoffman. But, I mean, it's just kind of funny that it's like, his last name happens to be Hoffman, and it was Hoffman that put us in the position to allow Mason Fluharty to even do that in the first place. Whoa. So, shout out to Mason Fluharty, because, I mean, that was some badass shit right there.
It was. Good job, Mason Fluharty. He's battled back from AAA. He's back in the bullpen, and he's earning a lot more trust with John Schneider and the Blue Jays club with that performance for sure. But circling it back to Jeff Hoffman, because Jeff Hoffman, overall in the season, he hasn't had the greatest numbers. There's been some questions about people trusting him in the late innings. But that's what I brought up before. It's like, why was he struggling so bad in this one? Is it because of a compilation of everything that's happened this season? It's just one of those outings where he just doesn't have it, blows up, or is it because of the fact that he hasn't pitched in a little bit? And I think it's a little bit of both. You can't just write off one or the other. He hadn't pitched in like a week because you can think about that Rocky series. Dude literally didn't even touch the mound. Didn't touch the mound in the last 2 games. So you're throwing him out there. You're trying to get him some innings in a big spot. He doesn't have it. Okay, that kind of happens. But, this isn't the first time we've seen Hoffman let the lead slip it away. To this fashion, not like this before. Usually it's a home run or some long balls. But to lose command like this was kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hear the whole argument of, oh, okay, well, he hasn't pitched in a week and, like, he's a little rusty and whatever. Well, I mean, like, that's your job is not to be rusty because, it's like, I don't think that you can have it both ways because people will make the argument where it's like, oh, well, he's being overworked. We're pitching him too much. And then when it's like, well, he's not getting pitched enough, now it's, I mean, at the end of the day, like, in my opinion, Jeff Hoffman has had an up and down season. And there's a lot of cherry picking that can be done with his stats. And actually, we do have a tweet right here where it's kind of like, a cherry pick sample size where he has been very, very good over a period of time. Since June 1st, he's had a 2.86 ERA. Okay, he's had 13 saves in 24 games. So he's been really, really solid. The K per 9's good. The walks per 9 is decent right there as well. So since June 1st, we can cherry pick that stat. This doesn't include yesterday, by the way, or before that outing. We can cherry pick that and go, oh, okay, like he's very, very good. So there's definitely some cherry picking that can be done. But I also don't want to go too far in the other direction and kind of put up all these excuses because he has also had, like you said, some rocky outings before in the past in this season as well. So yes, I think that there was some or at least a part of it of, okay, well, this isn't his typical routine.
Right.
But at the same point, I mean, you're our closer and we're in the biggest moment. You watching what is happening right now. I need you to lock it in. I do need you to lock it in.
Yeah, and for me, we were talking about John Schneider. I think part of this is like, well, John, your guy, your closer is not ready to go. He hasn't been a week. He's been sitting around in a week in the bullpen. You have to get him into a game situation between now, like the beginning of the week and now. Like, you're going up against the Dodgers. He's going to be pitching in games. And yeah, I know you didn't really need him in the Colorado Rockies series, but pitch him in a fucking inning. Like, I get it. Like, and that's why some people are like, why are they bringing in Hoffman? You got to keep him freaking loose. You got to keep him in competitive baseball games, even though it wasn't competitive. He's going to pretend like it's a competitive baseball game, pitch what he would like in the 9th inning in that situation. So I know we were blowing him away and there's no need to use him, but you're seeing an example right here where part of being a manager is you got to manage your players, and letting them rot there on the bench for a week is not good game management.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and there's definitely an argument there as well where, look, if this is going to be one of those things and, you're going to need him at some current juncture, then let's have him ready to go. Also, I see Mike is a bit weak again on Adam. Maybe at one point, if it continues to get weaker, we can go and we can adjust. It does this. I don't know why, folks. Don't know why. But you guys let us know your thoughts down below about Jeff Hoffman. And actually, before we completely transition, I did want to ask you, because I kind of spoke about this earlier in the short that I made. Is there any cause for concern for him to be the closer moving forward? Do you think at some point should they consider, potentially just flirting with some other options right there? Because Louis Varland's stuff looks sick. Yariel Rodriguez has had some great high leverage moments before. I mean, they have a deep enough pen right now that should they want to explore other options, they could.
Like, I've always been a believer where you gotta play your best guy by committee, unless it's like a proven dude who's been with an organization for a very long time and has proven it in the past, and you really don't want to. He's got a long leash, right? Where Jeff Hoffman, his leash is basically his contract. So you're really hoping that you pay all this money for this guy, you're hoping it works out, and you're keeping him in here all season long. But I'll go with this mentality. How many times have we seen a baseball team like this, like the Toronto Blue Jays, be this good, number one in the AL for this long? We haven't. We haven't seen this in years, folks. So for me, to rely and trust that Hoffman will be the closer 100%, no questions asked moving forward, is pretty ignorant. You got to be able to reassess down the line. If Hoffman just cannot do it in the big spots, for whatever reason, right? Whether it be mismanagement or him not finding his spots or or being too rested or being overworked, whatever it might be, go with a guy who can, right? And I do like that you brought up, we got Louis Varland is another option.
Throwing
there.
100. His stuff was
so
eating.
good.
It was eating yesterday, man. It looked so good.
So nasty. Like, Yariel Rodriguez is an option, right? Like, I say play it by committee. For me, there should be no roles assigned to you. Like, you've earned some roles when you get that contract and you've been here for a while. For me, I think we don't have time to really, like, you guys set the egos aside right here, and you got to play what's best for the team right now.
Yeah, and I kind of like what Jen Smith is saying right here as well. I don't entirely have faith in Hoffman, but yesterday was on Schneider and Walker, and I do think that there's, like we said, certainly some blame to be placed on them for how they were managing that game, and then also how they were managing the bullpen leading up to that game as well, because when we got into that spot, there wasn't a whole lot of options left, and they didn't handle it appropriately. I think that it's August 11th right now, and if I'm the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm totally like we're going how we've been operating until August 30th.
Right.
And if August 30th rolls around and there is a handful of blown saves in there, or maybe not even a couple, maybe not even a blown saves necessarily, but a couple outings where it's like, single, then a walk, and it's like we're flirting with danger here. That's when maybe I think you got to start adjusting, and then you take that last month of baseball leading up to the playoffs, and then maybe you just flirt with a little closer by committee just to see, right? Because maybe those guys aren't very good. Maybe Louis Varland doesn't want to go into the ninth.
Right.
I don't know, because I haven't seen it, right? I don't know. So it's like
spot, yeah?
Exactly, So I think that they got to evaluate up until then. If Hoffman has a great month of August, this conversation can be put to bed, and we don't have to think about it again. But yesterday, when you were walking quite literally everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't instill me with a whole lot of confidence come playoff time when you are going to be up against some good teams in close games.
Yeah, like, I agree. Like, Jeff Hoffman's a veteran guy in that bullpen. Like, he's probably one of the more veteran guys in that pen. Has the most experience closing ball games, especially for competitive teams that go to the playoffs like the Phillies. So I agree, you got to give him some rope, and he was doing great up until this outing. So let's hope that it all works itself out, and we don't really have to be worrying about this and having this conversation moving into October, and we can just be trusting that Hoffman is the guy. Before we move on, guys, let's give a quick shout out to our buds at Budweiser. Batters up, and the buds are stepping up to the plate. Budweiser is encouraging all buds to make time for baseball this summer. Official partner of your Toronto Blue Jays. Baseball is better with your buds. Limited time edition Toronto Blue Jay Budweiser cans now available at your local LCBO. Go pick them up, and of course, must be legal drinking age.
188 legends in here. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash the subscribe button. I want to talk about how we are coming back in ball games. That was our 37th comeback win because the Toronto Blue Jays were trailing for a large part of that game. I was a little worried that it was going to be, just another lowly one where the offense didn't come to life. But then later in the ball game, you had back-to-back jacks from Vladdy, from Barger, and the boys came to life. Now, there is some magic to this. There's actually something to this. I don't know if it's got to do with who they're up against in said inning. I'm not sure if it takes a little while for the boys to get warmed up. But the Toronto Blue Jays in the 8th inning or later this season hits 237. That's first in all of baseball. OPS 814. Wow. That's first in all of baseball. The strikeout rate, it is 18.9%. That's the second lowest in all of baseball. We know that they're very good when it comes to limiting strikeouts. Comeback wins, they are at 10. That's tied for second. And I can also speak from personal experience. The 8th inning is typically when we bring out the magic spanking paddle. Maybe that's
exactly why.
Maybe that's got something to do with this. But the magic spanking paddle has been very successful this season, and we can see that this is why. Yeah,
this is incredible. The Blue Jays are very good this year, guys. Like, they clearly got a game plan. Obviously, my brain goes like, well, how are they doing this? Who are they up against? Some games are probably up against the shitty bullpens where they're already winning. But there's also probably some good guys.
No. But that's okay. Maybe they're already winning. Yeah. But with all the comeback wins too, right? It's like
right.
There's
you're thinking 10 right here.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That's huge.
Good arms, right? So they're facing some good arms. They could be facing some bad arms, but they are are facing good arms typically in the 8th inning or later. So you got to give a lot of credit to those Blue Jays boys going and getting it done, man. That's why they are where they are. I mean, 37 comeback wins. Think about if half of those you don't even come back from. Like, we're talking about a completely different team.
We might not be. We probably wouldn't be in a playoff spot if half of those ended up being losses, right? Yeah. So the fact that they were able to battle through and then inevitably turn them into W's is why they are in this position. I guess I had I suppose the fallacy mindset of, well, Toronto Blue Jays are just not very good whenever we get to extra innings. But clearly in 2025, that's not the case because we have the number one offense and we have the most hits. So going to extra innings, I always find it to be very, very scary because I'm like, oh, the Toronto Blue Jays, we're not going to be able to come up with a runner in scoring position. And I guess that's just my old mentality kicking in. But the truth of the matter is, actually, they can. So going to extras, not the worst thing for this Toronto Blue Jays squad.
No, not at all. I also want to bring up one little sprinkle note in that series because I think that I've been kind of monitoring this guy's story, and that is Mr. Mad Max Scherzer. Great outing he had on Friday. Great for him. 6 innings, 2 earned runs against the LA freaking Dodgers. Like, that's good. Like, he's starting to enter that conversation of like, I kind of want to give you a postseason start at this point.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Bassett didn't do as well, and that's kind of been a storyline that as well that we're gonna have to follow. But Max Scherzer is certainly looking the part right now, looking how you want him to look. And honestly, I mean, a similar thing for me as with Jeff Hoffman. It's like, hey, like, let's see what happens over the next 3-4 weeks of baseball. If you can string together a couple more of these, because that's the third really good start in a row now.
Yeah.
That's the third really good start in a row now for Max Scherzer. A couple more strung together, and yes, absolutely, I am looking at a game 1 or a game 2 for you, because you tack on the good performances with the postseason experience, and now we're talking about somebody that's not going to blink when the lights are the brightest.
Yeah, no, I like it, guys. So I wanted to throw that in there, give a little love to Mad Max, and I also do really want to give a little bit of love to this guy who is going to be your Jay of the Week, because this guy was popping off. It is a very close run for Jay of the Week. I thought this one other dude would clearly win, but clearly, based on what he did in this Dodgers series, he deserved your vote. So without further ado, let's crown the Jay of the Week. The Jay of the Week.
Jay of the Week. I was very, very wrong here, but it does go to Mr. Dalton Varsho. Or Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Oh, shit. The vote must have changed.
The vote.
Okay, because when I looked about, I looked like, okay, so yeah, I guess it did change. I looked like 2 hours ago, and it was Varsho, but wow, okay, I guess there was a late surge right there for Vladdy. Yeah. So shout out to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. For winning Jay of the Week. Let's go.
Yeah, like, honestly, clearly, and I think the reason why I thought for sure, and probably you thought, and a lot of people thought initially, that he was going to win Jay of the Week was just because of how good the freaking numbers were. You look over here, he led the team in OPS this past week of 1.545 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. Guerrero, second best in OPS at 1.271 with also 3 homers but only 9 RBIs. Only 9, like that's a bad thing. But I think what the comment section here down below is talking about, if you go to our X, go follow us on X, you can vote on these for the upcoming Blue Jays Today shows. Everyone's talking about how just based on how clutch he was against the Dodgers, and again in that last game, was warranting of their vote. Maybe there's some recency bias in there. Whereas like Varsho was mainly just Rockies. He really pounded the Rockies. Where Guerrero was in every game and doing his best to try and get the W. And and a little bit tip of cap to how good he's been in the second half.
Vladdy, had they not had Vladdy do what he did yesterday, it would have been a series sweep against the LA Dodgers. So having Vladdy come up with that home run, and then also too, I mean the RBI double that he had in the first inning, I believe it was. I mean, like that. You don't have that, you don't win the ball game. Yeah. So shout out to Guerrero. Wow, yeah, I guess there really was. That must be recency bias because there was a late inning surge right there. for Vladdy, who just edged out Dalton Varsho. Now, I know that people have been asking about this, so let's finally talk about it. I'm very excited with this report. Keegan Matheson tweeted this out today, 12:47 p.m. news. The Blue Jays are promoting number 2 prospect Trey Yesavage to AAA Buffalo, his 4th level in 2025 after opening the year in Single A. Yesavage has combined 3.01 ERA with a ridiculous 15K per 9. He'll be waiting on the doorstep if the big club needs him, and that is honestly the big stat there. It is the strikeouts. There was a section in here talking about everything that he's done. The young future ace is striking batters out at a rate that is flat out absurd. Collecting that, and I mean, when you hear 15 Ks per 9, it's like, okay, well, what does that really mean? Well, 134 strikeouts in 80.2 innings.
Pretty
That's
good.
like fucking nuts right there. I mean, you track that, and I'm not saying that you can just do this because, this feels like a very cherry-picked stat right here. But if, let's just say, for instance, that Yesavage pitched 200 innings. I mean, what is that math, right? Like 350 strikeouts? Something like that.
You know what's crazy? And put in perspective, he's closer to striking out 2 batters per inning on average than just 1 batter per inning on average. That's how crazy that is when you think about the 15 number.
Yeah.
Like,
that's stupid, right?
Stupid good. Now, I know a lot of people in here kind of bring up like maybe some older people have been around the game, be like, okay, well, it's just the minor leagues, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, am I expecting him to come up to the big leagues and strike out 15 batters per 9? Not right away. But clearly, his stuff is good enough to just absolutely flat out embarrass minor leaguers. Can he do it at the big league level? And I think that's what we're going to wait and see right now. But they're making the final step before they bring him up to the big league level, which is bringing him up to AAA. You're right there. You're across the border. Where are you at right now with Trey Savage? Could this be a realistic possibility where he could come in September or make some appearance in the bullpen?
I mean, hey, there is a September call-ups for a reason, and I think that we saw, I saw some people talking about this, and I think there's something to it. We saw what Detroit did last year with their top prospect, Jackson Jobe.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, he's doing really great down there in the minors. He's flying up the system, everything like that. We want to give him an opportunity, but we're also not in a position to be like, okay, you're going to start games for us.
Yeah.
But we still think that your stuff can play at this level. I think that a very similar thing here could happen with Trey Savage. What does the guy do best? Strikes people out. Yeah. What do you want your bullpen arms to do? You want them to strike them out, right? So there's no book on Trey Savage whatsoever. I'm not saying that it is going to happen, but I think that there is at the very least now a possibility that when September call-ups roll around, and if the Toronto Blue Jays are looking to potentially add in, some other look in that bullpen that could maybe even give you 1 or 2 innings, a little bit of length, because he's capable of doing that as well, or you put him into a spot maybe in that 5th, 6th inning where you got to get some outs here, get some strikeouts. I think Trey Savage could be an option.
Yeah, and I don't think it's actually going to hurt his development really at all. Right now I'm taking a look at how many innings he's thrown this year, which is 80.2 thirds. Last year in NCAA he threw 93. So he's about 13 innings away from hitting his highest he's ever done in a single year, right? And you want to take baby steps with these prospects. He is 21 years old right now, so you want to take a little baby step with him. If he goes out in AAA, gives you 3 more outings, 4 more outings, okay, maybe he hits that 93, 95 mark. Well, actually, bring him up to the bullpen in a big league setting. You might be like, all right, you hit your innings limit. Let's shut you down a little bit, slow you down because you're getting drawn out to be a starter. Let's slow you down. Just pitch your best stuff at the big league level. Get a little bit of taste here in September. Throw 4 or 5 innings, out of the bullpen for the rest of the year. Get to 100 innings pitch mark. Not blow your arm away. Get some big league experience. I think I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
And it could be very dangerous, and no one would expect it. Like we said, no one will expect this.
No, nobody's going to expect this stuff, right? And it's clear that, yes, you can't automatically go, oh, well, he's striking out 15 guys, per 9 down there, so that's automatically going to happen. No, there's going to be some type of fall off, right? It's different when you're up against MLB hitters. It's different if he was up against Ohtani and Betts and whatever, but there is still something to be said about his stuff. I mean, you don't just luck your way into that many strikeouts, and now he's at a level as well, and I'm very interested to see how he does in AAA, because if those strikeouts remain relatively the same at that level, well, now you're talking about guys that are, literally just, snap of the finger away from being in MLB, and that could get called up come September for other teams, right? So, I mean, if he can still be striking people out at the AAA level over the next month in August, then 100%, I definitely think that there is a shot for him to come up to the show. And then you're talking about, well, if he has a good, what are we saying, 4, 5, 6 innings up here, that would instill us with so much more confidence that it's like, okay, well, maybe we can start to envision you in the rotation, in the actual rotation for next year, because we've seen you do this against some major league hitters. Now, I see Drew Gaber saying, look at the new top 30 list and top 100 list. Let's do just that. Trey Savage is the number one guy now in the Toronto Blue Jays system. He has leapfrogged Arjun Namala, who, by the way, is having a little bit of a rough season here. So he's fell down a couple pegs. Still very young, not worried, but leapfrogged Arjun Namala and is now the number one prospect in the Toronto Blue Jays system. He is still in the 100 or top 100 overall, and the Toronto Blue Jays were lucky enough to add in another person to that top 100, being JoJo Parker, which was their 8th overall selection this season.
Yeah, I like it. Just a fun little tidbit right there in case you're wondering where everyone's going, because JoJo Parker, obviously, they took a little bit of a long time to finally get him into the top 100, but there he is. Obviously, there's some prospect hype that goes with it, some draft hype, but he's right there. And then number 4, you got Ricky Tiedemann. Still, I'll be happy to hear Ricky Tiedemann coming back next year. What are we gonna get for him? If we get anything for him, I would absolutely love it. And then obviously Johnny King is impressing the hell out of a lot of people right now. That's why he's top 5. I see you got Savage 26 overall in baseball.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
We haven't had a prospect be that high in a while. Like, I think the last prospect that the Toronto Blue Jays had that was that high in just overall MLB was honestly Nate Pearson. Yeah. Somebody correct me in the chat and let me know if there was somebody else that was ever higher than that. But I don't think there was. I think I would have remembered if there was. Gabriel Moreno. But we traded. I don't think about him because we traded him away. So it's like. But so Trey Savage is the highest prospect up there right now for the Toronto Blue Jays at 26th, and it is. It's looking good right now, man. It's looking good.
Drew saying JoJo and Namala top 50 as well. Is that also true?
Oh, so yeah, both of them are in the top 100. Are they in the top 50 as well? You have JoJo Parker at 41 overall, and then you got Arjun Namala at 51. So just not in the top 50, but still, you're talking about young kids right here. JoJo Parker, I mean, he's not expected to come up till 2029. Yeah. Arjun Namala 2028. So still, lots of time for shit to go wrong. I mean, things could be bad, but there's also a lot of time for shit to go right. And these guys could, if they play good ball, absolutely skyrocket up these rankings, just like we saw Trey Savage do, and sooner rather than later could be moving up in the system, just like him.
That'd be fun. You go into next year and there is Trey Savage as your maybe a top 15, top 10 in baseball. That would get me pretty hyped up for the following season. Let's talk about a couple injuries right here and how this could impact the Blue Jays moving forward. And then we'll get into our Cubs series and predictions. George Springer still hasn't started at a rehab assignment yet. He's still absent from AAA lineup. This was on August 10th, so this is from yesterday. Little bit concerning right there. He's still trying to slowly get himself back in to the lineup. Obviously, he's out. He's feeling better every single day, according to John Schneider. He's hitting, he's running, he's taking fly balls. He's getting off the, he's going in the outfield again. And as soon as he can get clearance from MLB, that's what we're waiting for. He'll probably play in the game. We'll see how we go from there. As we know, George, very key player. We need him to be in the lineup because of how much value he brings to the squad. But hopefully we can get him back soon. But that brings up a problem. A problem the Blue Jays have. Obviously, we're still waiting for Jimenez to come back, right? So we got 2 guys coming back very, very soon. Obviously, Buddy Kennedy, we love you, but he's probably going to be gone for Jimenez. Then we run into a problem. George Springer. Who the hell does he take out? Everyone's kind of looking over right now at the couple of candidates like Miles Straw. You're looking at David Schneider, who's popping off. But then there's this guy, Ty France, that you just traded for. And guess what? He's popping off right now since getting traded to Toronto. He's 10 for 28 since coming to the Blue Jays with a 919 OPS, 4 double, small sample size, but still. How do you cut this guy now if you're trying to make a move?
Well, let's not pretend that we haven't had this conversation for the last 5 Blue Jays Today shows in a row because we keep talking about it. But the reason that we keep talking about it is because things keep changing. The last time that we were here, the consensus, I think you kind of came to the... I wasn't as I think on board with this necessarily because I was still they traded for him, and I don't know. But I know the chat was kind of leaning towards it as well. But it kind of felt like people were thinking, oh, maybe Ty France is going to be the guy that's going to go down. And even though the Toronto Blue Jays just traded for him, it's like, well, Miles Straw serves a purpose here, and he can run the base pass, he can come in and take over for some other guys, whereas Ty France is kind of locked at that first base position, and you got Vladdy there. Well, how do you DFA a guy who you just traded for, who since coming over has an OPS over 900? That's a tough sell, for somebody like Ross Atkins. It's like, hey, I just traded for this guy. He's got an OPS over 900, and we're going to DFA him now? That doesn't really make any sense. So you're locked in this really tough position where you have to decide either between Ty France, there's 4 options. It's Ty France, it's Miles Straw, it's Davis Schneider, who has options, but who's also doing really good, and then it's Joey Loperfido, who also has options, but is also doing really damn good. So those are your 4 options, and I do not envy the individual who has to make that choice.
Yeah, Ross, this is a good problem to have. Unless, if you want to keep Ty France, Vladdy, you want to go play some third base or something more often? Because, Unk's going to have to go in the outfield, or Vlad's going to have to play third base. And Unk's been so good as the DH, right? So what do? Do you switch up what Unk's doing? Especially he is playing a little bit of outfield now. There he is in the outfield taking some fly balls. Maybe they are prepping him to get a little bit more outfield action time.
So I wonder if now that now I'm thinking about it this way. We're getting close to September call-ups. And there is 2 individuals there, being Davis Schneider and Joey Loperfido, who have options.
Right.
And
now bring them back up.
That's, you know what I mean? It's that's what you don't want to lose them. But I think that it's also one of those spots where it's like, okay, well, can we sacrifice and can we sell the team on the idea of we're going to send Joey Loperfido down for 2 weeks so we can keep Miles Straw and Ty France on this roster all season long. Or, it's like if we send down Miles Straw right now, well, he's gone. Somebody is going to pick him up. He's not going to clear through waivers. Same thing with Ty France. You send down or you DFA Ty France, he's gone. So I wonder if at this point now it's kind of just like a biding time type thing, because you have too many good players on your roster. You got to make it to September, and then you can retain all of them.
I like that idea a lot. Hey, Ross, do that. Actually, that's a really good idea. And if we see Springer play in the outfield, then we'll also know. Someone's asking, has Springer played in the outfield? Hasn't been in the lineup yet. But if you see him in right field or wherever, or left field, he's probably going to be put back in the lineup. And that probably tells you that Ty France isn't going anywhere, if that's the case, because you just DH George Springer. Why would you even flirt with the idea of putting him in the outfield if you weren't planning on keeping Mr. Ty France? But those are the updates right there, everybody. Let's get into this upcoming series. But before we do, everybody, let's give a shout out to another sponsor here on Blue Jays Today, which is Pizza Pizza. Guys, try the Pizza's new chicken tenders today. Made with 100% Canadian farm-raised chicken and cooked to crispy golden perfection. Try them sauced up with some of the 3 new sauces. The 3 bold flavors are mango, pineapple, chili crisp, chimichurri ranch, and sweet and spicy bang bang. Pizza, because everybody deserves pizza. We got to have a little bit of a bounce back series right here. We got to get ready for game day tomorrow. They're playing the Cubs. They're back in Toronto. They're a good team. They're only 2 games behind us in the entire MLB in terms of standings. They made some big all-in moves this offseason. They made some more moves as well. Can we go and beat these guys? This is game 1. You've got Brown up against Barrios. This guy, Brown, I'm looking at it right now. He's pitched a lot this season. He's got a 6.04 ERA, though. Against Barrios, who's been struggling lately, not being his best, but he's still Jose. Where are we at?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Since July, what is this? Since July 2nd, I guess basically since July 1st, because he started on July 2nd. Since July 2nd, Jose Barrios has an ERA of 5.71. He's pitched 34.2 innings, and he's given up 22 earned runs. 26 runs altogether, so obviously some errors involved in there as well. But the FIP is also 5.42, so the expected numbers are saying, no, this is exactly what he should be doing. So Barrios hasn't, in that time, though, believe it or not, we're 6-1. So, I mean, it actually hasn't hurt the Toronto Blue Jays at all, but that's not because Barrios has been great. That's just because we've kind of, fumbled our way into it, or he's fumbled his way into winning these ball games. So Barrios, even though his season-long numbers are significantly better than Brown, it's not as I guess, a much of a difference, I think, as this graphic would indicate. That being said, though, we are back at home, and the Toronto Blue Jays perform significantly better at home this season. I think the boys are going to be fired up after, Mason Fluharty shut the door on Ohtani and Mookie Betts. I think that they're going to be fired up after, winning that one ball game there. And I think that hopefully that momentum is going to continue. And I do think that we're going to be able to get to a guy with a 6+ ERA. Offense going to carry in this one. Barrios going to give up some hits. He's going to give up some runs because they got a good offense over there as well. But I also believe that, PCA's been struggling recently.
Right.
And some of that Chicago lineup isn't as hot as they have been in the past. So give me Toronto. Give me Toronto in that one.
And then, I'm looking at this guy, Ben Brown, and he's been called up. He's been sent down recently. He's only pitched 3 times since the beginning of July, or even since the after July, or June 23rd, excuse me. So, hey, this guy's just trying to get his feet wet in the MLB and get settled in. And yeah, you're right. You're looking right now at this offense from the Cubs, and they are struggling right now. Not a lot of guys doing super, super hot, including Pete Crow, right? Look at that. Last 7 days.
Yeah, he's been ice cold. He's been ice cold.
So now it's time to pounce, boys. I'm saying the Blue Jays are going to win this one in a classic 8-6 Blue Jays win. We're giving up shit, but they're giving up more because the boys are hot. Vladdy's going to have a phenomenal game. Pop off for 2 homers or something.
Yeah, I think Jays are going to win this one. And speaking of Vladdy, too, I know that you tweeted this out, but let's just give a quick shout out here to the boy Vladdy. We got Jay of the week, but just a reminder here that since the second half, the guy's been phenomenal at baseball. Right now, the guy is actually on pace to hit over 30 home runs. That's the first time that he's been on pace to do that all season long. There was a moment in time where we didn't think that he'd even flirt with 25 home runs, let alone 30. Now he's on pace to hit 32.
And just to jump in, I got that number from his second half. So if he continues what he's doing in the second half, he will hit 32.
Okay, so he's got to keep it up, obviously, but in the second half, he's been phenomenal. OPS of 1.132, and yeah, if he keeps that up, then the season-long numbers will look really damn good as well. And Drew Gamer saying, can we admit second half Vladdy is real? Yeah. And at least over the last 2 seasons anyways, that's certainly been the case. This season is, almost exactly like last season. First half, it's okay, we're good. We're not great, but we're just kind of a good baseball player. And then second half, it's we're on a tour stretch and we look like Aaron Judge.
Yeah, again, if this is the way Vladdy's going to be, and I would guess I would rather have second half Vlad because at least that gives us a chance for the postseason, unless it kills us in the first half. But it hasn't. It's actually been just fine. We're the best team in the AL. So I'd rather have second half Vlad anyways, being Aaron Judge levels now.
Yeah, man. Look, as long as the numbers look good at the end of the season, fuck it. Yeah, at this point, I don't care anymore. Let's just hit home runs and be good plays. Second game here, you got Kevin Gausman on the bump up against Horton. Horton's been pretty good. Gausman, as we know, we've talked about it in the past. Guy has been up, guy has been down. Horton a little bit more consistent than that. Yeah. He's got a low 3 ERA, and typically when he's on the bump, he doesn't give up a whole lot. Last 4 starts, he's been scoreless. And I was up against Boston. That was up against Chicago White Sox, who you scoff at, but they actually have one of the best offenses in baseball in the last 30 days. So he was up against them when they were doing really good. Baltimore and Cincinnati, okay, those are kind of flubs, but still, clearly this guy has been very, very good. Do the Blue Jays win this one and get to 71 wins, or do we get shut down here?
Damn, dude, it's tough. Horton is legit, and the Blue Jays did face some legit pitchers recently. This one's a coin flip in my mind. And because it's coin flip, I'm going to give the home field advantage to the Blue Jays right here. Gosman's going to take this one. He's going to be vintage Gosman again. I'm really buying in, just like I'm buying him actually just a little bit. I'm sort of buying a little bit to the Gosman stocks right now that he's starting to find his way into the later half of the season and get into that stride for postseason. So, yeah, give me Gosman against a struggling Cubs team.
I don't like this one at all. Yeah, I don't like this one. Yeah,
I hate it. It's going to be like a 3-2 victory.
Yeah.
It's going to be something so dumb.
I think we were going to lose this one. Yeah, I don't know why, but I think we're going to lose this one. It's not going to be a great one. Offense is going to fall asleep. I do still think we're going to win the series, but I think that we lose this one. And then the following game, we got Matthew Boyd, who's been very, very good, up against Max Scherzer, who recently has been very, very good. This one, I'm going to say that the offense is capable of getting to Matthew Boyd, even though he has been phenomenal. What have the recent games look like?
They're glitching right now. MLB.com is glitching, but again, I'll take it for face value right now from Matthew. Actually, we can look right here. Probably see what he's been doing lately. Not bad. I mean, 94 in the last few games, 17 overall in baseball. This is the one that I'll say that we lose because, hey, listen, again, it's another one of those coin flip ones. Boyd's been solid. Scherzer's been great. Again, very tight ball game. They're a good team. They'll squeak one out. I'll say we lose the third one. We don't get the sweep, unfortunately. But still, the Blue Jays, if they get two, like we're saying, they'll be at 71 and 51, which, fun fact, only 3 less wins than where we were at last year at the end of the season. Isn't that fun?
That is, yeah, that's actually really interesting, man. We could be at last year's total within a week at this point. But I say that we win that last one. Max Scherzer goes on an absolute tear, has his 4th consecutive really good start, quality start in a row, and we're really starting to feel strong about the postseason aspirations for that guy. But you guys let us know in the comments down below, what are you riding with in this series? It is time for the final segment of this video. It's time to spin the wheel.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is a wheel that we spin every single week. This past week, no ground gained by anybody. I obviously lost worst Jay. Varsho came out swinging. Dude was insane. Did quite the opposite of what it was that I thought he was going to do. I assume Vladdy beat out Barsher in home runs.
One more. Yeah, Barsher's still pretty good.
Barsher did well. Barsher was hitting some, but Vladdy just went on an absolute tear. And then, nobody stole a base. Is that what happened?
Base. Yeah. One person did it, the whole team. Miles Straw.
There you go. That might be the guy moving forward. So, yeah, it is your week this week, and it's probably going to be the exact same categories again because this thing is weighted, and we forgot to change it.
We didn't change it out yet.
So, let's see what it is, and it's... Oh, okay, actually something different. This is a very, very exciting. It is K pitchers. I don't think we've got that all season long.
We haven't got K pitchers at all, so total strikeouts for the pitcher.
Was it total, or did we change it to K
per 9? We should probably do K per 9.
Was it K per 9, or I can't remember what it was.
We should, because now I'm thinking about it, like I'll just pick Barrios then.
Yeah, because you're gonna go twice. Yeah. So definitely K per 9 now.
So with that being said, you've got Gosman cooking, you've got Scherzer cooking. Chat, what are we thinking right here? We can do bullpen guys too.
Yeah, because it's K per 9. You're technically allowed to do anything. Right?
I'm gonna pull up the Blue Jays stats right now. Blue Jays stats. Let's get it going. Let's see how they've been doing in the past little bit. Let's go 15 days. Innings and strikeouts. Okay.
Gosman's 1 for 1. Lauer's pretty good. Fisher's going insane.
Dominating. Okay. I think I've got to go with it. People saying Varlin. How's Varlin been?
Pretty good.
Okay, he's been good. You know what? Screw it, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna pick Fish Boy. I mean, that just seems ridiculous.
Wow, that's I mean, like the guy.
That's ridiculous. The only guy clearly doing like 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, he was doing 2 strikeouts per inning. It's a weird one, but you know what? I mean, stats don't lie, and if you had him over the last 2 weeks, you would have won both times. So I don't hate it. I think I am gonna also go with a bullpen arm. My choices are between Louis Varland or Sir Anthony Dominguez. What are we thinking, chat? Sir Anthony Dominguez or Louis Varland.
Because he's got 7 and 4 2/3.
Yeah, and they both have high velo. They both have good strikeout stuff. Who do we think? Yeah, exactly. Extend Schneider, Varland or Dominguez? What do we want? I got 2 Varlands. I got 1 Sir Anthony. I got 3 Varlands, and now I got 2 okay, it looks like chat wants Varland, so let's go with Louis Varland. I'm fine with that. I think on any given week, he could go insane. So I will go with Louis Varland. I really liked what he did yesterday against the Dodgers. The stuff just looked phenomenal.
You're going with the velo. I'm going with the hook. That's our K per 9 method. And we got Worst J right here.
Classic. Worst J.
All right. Well, let's take a look at who's been the worst.
I know who I'm not picking this week. Obviously not going to be picking Dalton Varsho because that guy was fucking ludicrous this past week. Granted, there probably wasn't that many bad J's at all last week because everybody was going insane.
I mean, you might go with a pitcher here. But it's honestly, you can pick a few guys. So I'm gonna let you go with this one here. I'm gonna let you go because I feel like it's kind of tough.
Okay, let's see. This is year to date. Can I see last 15 for the offense here? I mean, it's all gonna be pretty ridiculous. I bet.
Pretty good. The worst guy is Miles Straw, but he barely gets ABs. Yeah, dude, everyone's got an OPS over 841. Nathan Lucas is the worst one who gets regular playing time.
Kirk's been trash, but it's probably because he came back and he's trying to get ramped up. I'm not going to pick Kirk for worst J. I just can't be doing that. I think, honestly, I want to go... people are saying Hoffman. I'm not going to go Jeff Hoffman. No, I'm not going to go Jeff Hoffman. I am going to go... Chris Bassett though, because he's been all over the place. It feels like it's a slow decline of not good. We know he's gonna get a start. I know it's gonna be against Texas Rangers. They got their offense is starting to come to life. They're cooking, so I'm gonna say Chris Bassett blows it up and we lose the game that he starts.
Now, because you said a starting pitcher, I gotta go with starting pitcher, so I gotta pick Bassett, even though he's got 2 or not Bassett, excuse me. Even though I gotta pick Barrios is a clear and obvious one there. He's got 2 starts, so it might even out, but I mean,
well, they're both good lineups, so
I gotta pick them. So let's go. Yeah, let's go Bassett. Or sorry, God damn it, Barrios. Barrios.
Yeah, weird, but those are probably the 2 guys at the bottom of our rotation right now. Honestly, the guys that I do not want to see in a playoff start at this current point.
That's what's crazy. We didn't even talk about that, but like,
shit, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Bassett is elite, huh? You're right. You're so right.
Home runs now, and I get to pick this one. I gotta go with the hottest Blue Jay right now. I gotta go with Vladimir.
Makes the sense. Yep. Definitely makes the sense. Who else has been? I mean, Barger's kind of the best other choice right here. So, but Dalton Varsho's been hitting bombs too. Varsho's actually been hit. He got 3 home runs last week as well. But how much of that was Colorado? How much of that was just Dalton Varsho being awesome? Barger got 4. Oh, okay, well, I mean, Barger got 4, right? So I got to go with Addison Barger, right? Those are the 2 choices this year. It's Addison Barger and it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And on any given week, those guys, either one of those guys can pop off. Last week was Vlad. Maybe this week it's Barger. But yeah, I got to go with Addy Batty right there.
We totally forgot about Buddy Kennedy.
Shit.
Just gotta thought about Buddy Kennedy for homers, guys.
He
might try to save his job and just give it another reason why you can't cut this guy. You know?
I'll be honest, guys. I don't know if Buddy Kennedy is gonna be here on Sunday. Because Jimenez is in the lineup pretty much every day for Buffalo at this point. So the days are numbered for Buddy Kennedy at this current point. But folks, that is the Blue Jays Today Show. I see Drew Grimmer asking us to do some mailbag questions. We typically do the mailbag questions on the Friday show because we just have a little bit more time. So we will definitely be doing that this coming Friday. But folks, please comment your thoughts down below about everything that we talked about. Is Jeff Hoffman still your closer? Do you believe in him in those late innings this upcoming series? What are your thoughts? And Trey Savage, could he make an impact on this team moving forward?
Yeah, guys, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Also, $4 a month to become a YouTube member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always, go Jays, go!